Welcome to the city of Emeryville. This presentation will handle the minimum wage and paid sick leave ordinance for the city of Emeryville. Before we begin, however, we need to present to you the current COVID-19 requirements. Employees may need to take time off because they have to go into quarantine. They may also belong to a vulnerable population. Business closures will cause employees not to be able to work. Employees may also need to take time off to care for family members. The Family and Medical Leave Act allows workers to take up to 12 weeks off to care for their children. Fast food workers may also be allowed to take supplemental paid sick leave. The Families First Coronavirus Response Act allows full-time employees to take up to 80 hours in protected paid leave. This emergency leave cannot be carried over to the following year, however. Employers are not allowed to force employees to use the existing accrued leave before using this emergency leave. Employers are also not allowed to force employees to find a replacement worker if they need to take this emergency leave. This notice to employees was provided by the U.S. Department of Labor in response to the COVID-19 crisis. Please post it on your job site at a location that is easily accessible. If you do not have this poster, please download it from the City of Emeryville's website. Emeryville's minimum wage is currently $16.84 per hour. This applies for all employees who are working within the city limits for at least 2 hours per week. Outside employers who send their employees to work in Emeryville also are subject to this minimum wage payment requirement. Large businesses have to provide 72 hours in paid sick leave to their employees. Employees of small businesses are entitled to 48 hours in paid sick leave. Paid sick leave can also be used to care for family members. This notice to employees is regarding the City of Emeryville's minimum wage and paid sick leave requirements. If at least 10% of your employees are non-English speakers, you can also get this poster in other languages. Minimum wage and paid sick leave for the City of Emeryville is above and beyond federal and state requirements. Employees who have questions about the information on this poster should email minwage@emeryville.org or call the hotline 510-596-4351. Be sure to put this poster in a location that is easily accessible. The following describes basic enforcement steps. We review employer records that are submitted annually to the city whenever that's required. We respond to complaints. We determine if those complaints fall within the city's jurisdiction. We notify employers whenever we launch investigations. We audit payroll records. We collect any wages owed to the workers, as well as penalties that are due to the city. We close investigations once we determine that the employer is in compliance. However, willful violations, repeat offenses, or unresolved cases may be referred to the State Labor Commissioner's office. We interview employees during investigations. We verify that they're receiving the required minimum wage and paid sick leave in the City of Emeryville. Workers can file complaints in English, Spanish, or another language. Written complaints have employee signatures. We also respond to complaints regarding retaliation, including job loss. We do maintain employee confidentiality whenever that is requested. Letters are sent to employers requesting information. We do follow up with emails. We provide minimum deadlines for them to respond to our inquiries. We audit records that we receive from employers as well as from employees. Payroll records need to be maintained for a minimum of 3 years. They report employee names, job titles, rates of pay, gross wages, any amount of paid sick leave accrued, as well as all deductions. That information also needs to be recorded on employee check stubs. Payroll records include signed timesheets, as well as any bank records that substantiates payroll. Payroll tax reports that are sent to state or federal agencies may also be requested. Remember, prevention is always better than cure. Pay your workers what they're owed on time. If not, you may find yourself having to pay them interest as well. The city could also assess penalties. You can't, however, attend hearings to discuss your case with the City Council. You could participate in mediation or settlement negotiations. The city may consider waiving penalties for first-time offenses that are not willful in nature. Union employers are not subject to labor compliance enforcement in the city of Emeryville. Retaliation is never allowed in the state of California. April Shabazz is in charge of labor compliance at the city of Emeryville. Please send all your questions to minimumwage@emeryville.org. You can also call 510-596-4351. Thank you for taking the time to learn about the city's labor compliance requirements and enforcement procedures.